Hi, it's 1975 and welcome to Elite Dangerous on the Xbox One. And today I've got a fun video for you of some fights outside of Shinny. So, just Pete has been winging it around for like the last half an hour, 40 minutes on his own as the only IED representative. And for a lot of the time he'd been sat in and around the station. He said he was AFK for a while. You know, I'd had a 1v1 with a guy earlier, and just Pete had winged it around the 1v1 the whole time. And then he followed me back to the station and sat in the no-fire zone for a bit. I wanted to have a 1v1 with Leonard, but I was saying, like, I can't because, like, I tried to have a 1v1 with Leonard and an IED attacked me. Leonard had a problem with his canopy broke, so we scrapped the 1v1. And then as I was heading back to the station, Pete started shooting at me, and I was like, I'd already offered Pete a 1v1 in mediums. He said he didn't have one available. He, wanted a 1v1 in large. I don't have that sort of ship available. I don't have a combat large ship. Partly because combat in cutters is just, it's just so dull. It is kind of the no risk, don't want to be involved in PvP properly kind of ship. You're not taking any risk in a cutter. You can wake out on anything else but a cutter. You're never really at risk, and you've got shields for days. You get plenty of warning. It's a very good ship if you're risk averse, but you want to take part in PvP. As long as you've got a fast boot FSD on there, that is, because Grom bombs will still be annoying, but you get plenty, and I mean plenty of warning when your shields are about to go. It's very difficult to kill a cutter. They are very, unless you're in a cutter, and even then it's super annoyingly difficult to take them on. Me personally, I like small and medium ships for combat. They're more fun, they're more exciting. It feels much more like fighter combat. So I've never unlocked the Corvette. I have a cutter that I use for piracy. I may convert that into a combat ship at some point, but honestly I find it really boring even when I fight in it for brief periods in my pirate one. I mean, I've fought a few times in it, but I always kind of like need assistance to take on a proper PvP ship. Because I've got absolute tons of cargo. The only thing I really use it for now these days is PvE piracy, because it can hold so many tons of low temperature diamonds. It's really useful for milking frog and stuff like that. There we go, nice bit of lag. But this fight was me, Leonard, and Senior Magi. Me and Leonard had gone out of the station to have a 1v1. IED, just Pete had interjected himself after Leonard's canopy went. Leonard went to fix his canopy, and then we were going to restart the fight because it hadn't even started really properly at that point. And then just Pete started attacking me on my way back to the station just to rearm. And after that, this fight ensued, which was me, Senior Maggie, and Leonard. So 2 ex-Dark Marauders and one guy who applied on many occasions, who helped us greatly in the ESR wars that I really like, Senior Magi. And we had this altercation with IED. I wondered why IED were fighting, because it had been just Pete up there, and then I realised that Dragonstorm had joined him, so they now had a cut around a Corvette. Then another ship joined in the fight, which was an FDL, so it was pretty much a 3v3. It was a good fun fight. I really enjoyed myself, and it was great to see so many beam lasers in action. It looked really cool with like the 2 sets of yellow beams going at the Corvette and the cutter's shield so much. So it was an awesome looking fight. It was pretty fun. I think I've got better with my pit management in big wing fights. I certainly, I now know I can read rams better. Because of recent events, I've had a lot of practice at getting used to, forcing rams and avoiding rams, and what they describe as vector matching, which sounds really complicated but is not that difficult a skill to learn. And boost timing, which again sounds complicated, but it's pretty easy. It's certainly opened my eyes. My evasion skills are still non-existent, and I still don't do any flight assist off. So I'm going to get shown up by the better pilots because I am not a very good pilot. But I now know a few more tricks, and I have a few more things up my sleeve, which is cool. I don't consider myself a PvPer. I still think of myself as kind of like a tourist in their domain. I am still the space trucking pirate who just kind of dabbles in PvP occasionally. I only have interest in doing PvP really to like get good enough to help my faction, or used to be my faction, and now to help 7th Legion in this war. I have no desire to get good at PvP for my own sake, because it's not something I would be taking part in if it was left just to me. If I wasn't, you know, actively fighting wars or even have player faction interests, if I was back just doing my own thing like I was before I joined the Dark Marauders, I'd be back with an all Lacon fleet just truck driving, because that's what I did for years and that's what I do in game. I'm not really a combat guy, I never have been, but I have enjoyed my time being a tourist in the PvP community. They're an interesting bunch, they're fun to learn from, they're always really happy to teach you new tricks and new ways to fly and new things to do, and they've also got an innate interest in the mechanics of the game and the minutiae of the game that is stuff that I find interesting but I'm too lazy to try and work out myself or learn about. You know, like I say, I don't use Coriolis. I build my ships just however I see them, and I have fun just cobbling together something janky and then taking it to people like Scrub Killer. Decador used to be one of the guys I always used to take them to, and like saying, what can I do to make this better? Now they'd normally say scrap that and do something else, but when I persuaded them, like, no, I want it to be as janky and weird as possible, but can you help me keep this but make this better? And they were like, okay, you can keep that, do this. And over time, you know, I cobbled together some fun ships. I also shamelessly stole a lot of ships from the Depression channel, and I have no problem with admitting that. That guy builds some really fun janky builds and I really like using them. If I ever do get a big for combat, it's most likely to be a Death Star Condor, because I hate the Anaconda, but the Death Star Condor does look like fun. Here I'm actually doing something I've recently learned, which is quite cool. With my beam de lance, if I keep my nose down, it doesn't fire my huge hardpoint, so it doesn't drain my distro totally, and I can bring my huge hardpoint up once I've raised my heat to a certain level that it makes it worth using. It's a little tip, just like, you know, managing my distro a little bit better, you know, and also pre-turning a lot more than I used to, and like I say, you saw in a couple of these rams I actually do get pips into shields in time, which is a great thing. But you know, I'm also quite happy now to, you know, realise that my beams are out of range, switch to my multi-cannons only because they've got a little bit more range. You know, there's things that I've learned, things that I've got used to that I'm actually quite pleased about, and that's the thing. 1v1s are a great place to learn stuff, and it's in wing fights that you execute that stuff to have, you know, to give yourself the advantage. And I mean, I was very lucky in this wing fight. Everyone's just focusing the Condor, Leonard, who's, you know, taking the damage like a boss and just sat there, you know, dealing with it. And I'm free to just harass and harangue this FDL and just murder it. I wasn't being mean, I didn't target systems or try and take his drives out. I thought he'd wake away, to be honest, but he wanted to stick in there. And that's one thing I really have learned to appreciate with the PvP guys is, you know, letting yourself die to them. It sounds weird, but, you know, if someone deserves the kill, don't rob them of the kill. Let them have the kill. If it's been a fun fight, why, why wake away? Just take the rebuy, get back to the station, GG them, and that's it. Straight after this fight, I ended up in another fight, and my systems were cooked. My multi-cannon was out of ammo. I was pretty much malfunctioning all over the place. I could have limped back to the station, but you know what? I decided, why not? You know, see what I can do against that. I'm going to fight when I'm damaged. It's good practice for that. And let's see if I can take that ship out before I die. Anyway, one moment.
A few moments later.
So, killed an FDL, chased out a cutter and corvette. I could go back to the station and repair with my head held high. Job done. Instead, I end up dicking around and staying around, fighting a Viper from the Hand and Nightfall Saul. Safe in the knowledge that Nightfall will very much send me to a rebuy screen at some point. My ship can't stand up to his 1v1, let alone while I'm trying to focus on someone else or getting involved when I've got, no ammo from my heat sinks, no ammo in one of my multi-cannons, and I've already got half my systems failing. But it was good fun, and like I said, if you're going to partake in PvP, you shouldn't be doing it scared to die. The whole point of PvP combat, is you should be trying to win but not scared to lose. And I feel there's too many people that want to partake in PvP combat that are too scared to lose. Or they think there's some great shame in dying or losing. I have learned from my time amongst the PvPers that, they trade paint back and forth all the time. People win, people lose. It's no big thing. Taking a rebuy is not a huge thing, and it definitely shouldn't be a huge thing. I mean, one wing mission will pay for my rebuy 5 times over. So, what's the biggie? I had one jump mission for 3 times my rebuy the other night. It should be about having fun. It should be about trying to win but not being afraid to lose. It should be just about having fun and not accepting, you are going to die sometimes. Very much when you take Nightfall on with like hardly any shields left, and just with your ship falling apart already, you're signing a death warrant. You're signing a death warrant if you take Nightfall on most times fully fit, or I certainly do. The guy does so much DPS and just doesn't seem to miss with those damn things. But I wanted to see how much I could push my ship, how much further I could go, how much longer I could last. And while this fight was going on, once I realised I was definitely dead, I set myself some trying to kill that Viper before I died. And it was really good fun. It was a fun fight, and the whole evening was just fun fight after fun fight. I had some 1v1s, got involved in some wing fights, had a great time, tried out my new ship, and had some fun in my Beam de Lance, which is still one of the funnest ships I ever built. So thank you hugely to the Depression channel. Thank you very much for the build. It's been a joyous, fun thing to do, and I've still got to get the fixed beams on it fully finished so I can run a fixed beam version. Anyway, that's all. Enjoy the rest of this footage.
Very tricky.
Taking heat damage. Module malfunction. Module malfunction.
Where have you got her, you and Shimmy?
Module malfunction. Canopy integrity at 50%. Warning, temperature critical. Module malfunction.